A few weeks ago, my wife and I were talking and I broke down. I told her that I was feeling burned out and she asked me a simple three-letter question. Why? And that's the reason I'm creating this video because that conversation with my wife led me to believe that if I feel this way, then I'm sure many of you feel this way as well. So as this year is coming to an end, I think this is something we should talk about. See, being burned out means feeling empty and mentally exhausted, devoid of motivation and beyond caring. Most people experiencing burnout often don't see any hope of positive change in their situation. However, I'm here to tell you that change is possible. You just have to first recognize why you feel burnt out and then identify what strategies can help you reset. Here's the only guide you need. To start, let's talk about the why first. Here are 5 signs you may be experiencing burnout. Sign number 1, exhaustion. A clear sign of burnout is when you feel tired all the time. Exhaustion can be emotional, mental, or physical. For me, it was all 3. I felt completely spent and I had no energy at all. Sign number 2, a lack of motivation. Comment below the phrase, sounds like me, if you've ever felt unenthusiastic about anything. Maybe it's been really hard lately to get up and get going in the morning. Or maybe you always feel like you're just dragging yourself into work every day. If this sounds like you, and I mean, it sounds like me, then there's a good chance you're experiencing burnout. Sign number 3, frustration and irritability. Now, maybe you feel like what you're doing doesn't matter much anymore. Maybe you feel more frustrated than usual or quick to irritation with people around you. If this is the case, then you may be experiencing burnout. Now, it's important to note that we all experience negative emotions like this differently. So the key is paying attention to when these things become unusual for you. Sign number 4, cognitive problems. What in the world does this mean? In short, burnout and stress can interfere with your ability to pay attention or concentrate. When we're stressed, our attention narrows to focus on the negative element we perceive as a threat. When we're burned out, our minds start to struggle with patience, and rather than solve problems, we seek shortcuts, all of which can negatively affect our ability to make decisions. Sign number 5, not taking care of yourself. Something that has been true for me, and I talked about this on an episode of my private podcast a few weeks back, is that I've started to neglect a few habits that I value in my life. And the only reason for that is because I felt burnt out. So if you find yourself slipping in the self-care category, then I strongly want to encourage you to consider whether or not you feel burned out. Because remember, the first step to correcting it is recognizing it. Now, to bring this conversation full circle, completing this guide I've begun to outline, I'd like to highlight 5 strategies to help you reset. These are things that I've been implementing and focusing on personally to help me reset in preparation for the new year. So again, if you find yourself feeling burned out, this is the only guide you need. Step number 1, find the source. It's tough to make changes when you don't know exactly what needs to change, but exploring contributing factors and sources that have led to you feeling burned out can help. So take a look at some of the signs of burnout I just shared with you and see if any of those that are true for you point back to specific actions or events in your life. Step number 2, pay attention to your needs. Taking charge of your physical and mental health is key to burnout recovery. So if you find yourself slipping in a self-care category, as I mentioned earlier, then this is for you. And there are a few things I want you to try that have worked well for me. Number 1 is make sure you're getting enough sleep. Now, I'm a night owl, so this is easier said than done, to be honest, but I continue to do my best and it's working. Number 2 is to spend time with loved ones, but don't neglect your alone time because that's important too. And number 3 is get active, eat right, and stay hydrated. Although these may seem like little things and you may not think they play a significant role in helping you reset, but they do. And in many ways, I feel incomplete without them. Step number 3, cultivate a rich non-work life. For many of us, work is the main reason we feel burned out. So the key is to find something outside of work that you're passionate about, whether it's a hobby, a sports, a fitness activity, or volunteering. When you have something else that you enjoy that's also challenging, it makes a huge difference. Step number 4, take relaxation seriously. When my wife and I were discussing why I felt so burnt out a few weeks ago, I remember telling her that I feel like I'd never have enough time for me. And she kept encouraging me and reminding me that it's okay to take breaks and relax. And she's right. See, many of us live life constantly on the go. And if this is true for you, then I want to encourage you to slow down. Try meditating, reading, or scheduling dedicated time to spend with family or to do nothing. Something that would force you to unplug and relax. I promise you'll feel a million times better once you do. Step number 5, set boundaries. Now, normally when you think of setting boundaries, the first thing that comes to mind is boundaries between people. not allowing someone to get too close or to take advantage of you, as an example. And that's one way to think about it. However, boundaries also extend to setting limits within yourself. In other words, it's learning to say no. So ask yourself, are you accepting too many commitments? Is your plate overloaded with responsibilities? Do you really have the time or energy to do the things you're doing? See, what I've learned is that it's better to hit pause and take breaks than to try and fight your way out of burnout by working more. As I think about it, there's a bonus step that I want to mention as well, and that is to talk to someone. By someone, I mean your partner or spouse, a family member or friend you trust, and if you need to, a therapist. See, sometimes burnout can provoke feelings of helplessness, and it may not be best for you to try and figure it out on your own. But by choosing to address it, you've already taken the first step to resetting your life. So don't wait until you explode with emotion. Instead, talk about it and allow someone to help you if you need it. I hope you found value in this conversation. And if you did, comment below and let me know which part resonated the most with you. Keep growing, keep learning, and always stay true to you. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.